to understand the treachery which Zionist and Bolshevik Jews are capable, and to understand the treachery which took place before and during the 1973 war, I must explain the New York-Moscow-Tel Aviv triangle. To do so, it is necessary to go back a few years in history. A heavy migration of Jews from Russia to America started in 1831. Most of these were communist Jews, so many of these communist Bolshevik Jews settled in New York, and New York has been referred to as Moscow on the Hudson. It has been pointed out, and with good reason, that decisions regarding communist policies come not from Moscow, but from New York City. Whether this fact is a fact or not is immaterial. What is important is the fact that there is a close tie between the Zionist Bolshevik Jews in New York City and the Zionist Bolshevik Jews in Moscow, and extending to include the Zionist Bolshevik Jews who dominate Israel's government. The Zionist power over the U.S. government in Washington, D.C. stems from the Zionists and Bolsheviks centered in New York City. It is from New York that orders go out to a vast Zionist network all over the U.S., a network that influences the economic and political affairs not only of our federal government, but nearly all, if not all, state governments, and to a great extent, the governments of the larger and even medium-sized cities. This power of the Zionist Bolshevik Jews over the U.S. makes the New York leg of the New York-Moscow-Tel Aviv triangle a tremendous influence over communist policies. In viewing the 1973 war, most people, and it seems most Arabs, are of the impression that since Soviet Russia sold equipment to Egypt and other Arab countries, the Soviets were in support of the Arabs in the 1973 war. This is a false impression. To understand that this is the result of more deceit on the part of Israel and the Soviet Union, you must be aware of Golda Meir, the Stalin-Kaganovich Pact. Golda Meir had been born in Russia, grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and in 1921 migrated to Israel. In 1949, Golda Meir became Israel's first ambassador to the Soviet Union. Representing Israel, Ambassador Golda Meir, a Bolshevik Jewish, met with two representatives of the Soviet Union, Kaganovich, and a Bolshevik Jew, and Stalin, who had married a Bolshevik Jewess. They made a secret agreement, a pact. Israel's part of the pact was Israel would not allow any Western country, especially the U.S., to build military bases on Israeli territory. Israel would allow an official communist party to function freely in Israel. Israel would not make any agreement to solve the Palestinian problem. Israel would influence world Jewry, especially in the U.S., to have Western powers adopt the policy of favoring Israel over the Arabs. Israel was to continue its Marxist economic policies and prevent any free enterprise tendencies. The Soviet Union's part of the pact was the Soviets would institute a pro-Arab policy solely as camouflage for its true intentions, which was to furnish aid to the Arabs, but never enough to enable the Arabs to destroy Israel. The Soviets would open the gates of Soviet satellite countries to Jewish immigration to Israel. Should this be insufficient, Soviet Russia would then open its own gates to immigration. The Soviets would absolutely guarantee the security of Israel. Both the Soviet Union and Israel would exchange intelligence reports. From the terms of this pact, you can see, and still is, the aim of the Soviet Union and Zionist Marxist-Israel to prevent peace between Arab countries and Israel until all the Arab countries are forced to adopt socialism under the Soviet leadership.